So I really felt called to make a video today on food guilt during the holidays. I know it's something a lot of us struggle with even when we don't really have any other eating disorders. And Thanksgiving is probably the worst holiday to try to enjoy when you suffer from food guilt. If this video brings you peace today, make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel. We talk about mental health and Christianity here and just try to add inclusivity into faith-based conversations. So the first thing you need to know is that food guilt is not normal. It is not healthy to feel guilt from eating. And I wanted to point out that the Bible talks about excessive food and drink as gluttonous. So I think it's kind of sad that a lot of Christians might feel justified in feeling guilty by eating more or drinking more during the holidays. But the Bible also talks about feasting and celebration, and really a feast is just, a grand meal you can enjoy as part of a celebration. So biblically, is eating a lot of food during the holidays sinful, or is it just, a celebratory feast? A feast which is supposed to be, something we connect with our family over. It's supposed to be a joyful time. We need to understand what gluttony really is to answer that question. And I think that gluttony is really the only circumstance where feeling guilty is appropriate because guilt arises as a response to sin. Gluttony is a matter of heart posture, and it means you repeatedly overindulge in something that's not good for you. Honestly, you do it for pleasure. It's so similar to so many other sins in that over time, the things we are gluttonous with will inevitably cause hardship and even illness in our lives. Alcohol abuse or smoking cigarettes can lead to cancer, fatty liver, or damaged organs, just for example. You can be gluttonous in other things too. Sometimes the cost of gluttony is materialism, coveting, which is also a sin. Maybe you would become broke over time by indulging in activities that are financially expensive. And I think the first one I think of is gambling, but also shopping. Like, there are people out there who literally own dozens of designer handbags, and you might think, okay, how does gluttony of designer handbags have a negative effect on anyone's life? It doesn't clog your arteries, right? But honestly, continuing to purchase things far beyond your need for them really damages your heart, and it makes you more susceptible to sins like greed. Sometimes the cost of one sin is another sin. So is having a big meal on Thanksgiving gluttonous? No. It is a feast, and at feasts we are supposed to enjoy the privilege and blessing of being able to fill our bodies with food. It is supposed to be a gift. And obviously Thanksgiving is a time of thanks. So it all just kind of comes together, Celebrations are supposed to be more lavish than our everyday lives, and that is okay. But what if eating food in larger amounts still makes you feel guilty? A lot of eating disorders arise out of a need for control. And anorexia, for example, most often happens because the person who has it feels just lost in life, and their body size, what they eat, what they consume is controllable. And honestly, people with more severe eating disorders probably won't eat much during the holidays anyways. They'll try to keep living the same way they have been. But if you're someone who just really wants seconds and you allow yourself to eat seconds, and then you spend the next few days, feeling guilty about it, that's not good either. There is no reason to feel guilty from eating a lot on Thanksgiving. First of all, our bodies adjust how many calories we burn if we do decide to eat a large meal every now and then. And unless you're the old lady who swallowed a turkey, there's a good chance you won't gain weight from one larger meal. I did learn this in nutrition in college. And if you're like me, I retain a lot of water when I eat salty foods. So after, big holiday meals, I'm usually bloated for many days. But even if you do gain weight, don't be afraid. It's not really a big deal. You don't even have to work it off right away unless you want to. You don't have to work it off at all. It is not gluttonous to enjoy a big Thanksgiving or Christmas or any other holiday dinner. But what if you feel guilty anyways? Like, how do you stop feeling food guilt? Number one, my suggestion is to get closer with Jesus. You might already be very close to him, but getting even closer will help you understand what's irrational, what's rooted in truth, and what's not. The Bible describes it as taking every thought captive. That means you only think thoughts that are rooted in truth. And the truth here is that there's no reason to feel guilty for enjoying your holiday dinner. It takes time and a lot of practice, though, to surrender these feelings of guilt that aren't true to God. I used to feel guilty, honestly, every time I ate food, like if I reached a certain amount of food in my meal, and I started feeling satiated, like not even full, but just satiated, I would start feeling guilty, and often I wouldn't be able to eat just the most normal quantities of food. And I went through this for years. I remember stopping a certain medication that literally destroyed my metabolism. And because it destroyed my metabolism, I was always hungry and I was always tired. Like, I wasn't getting enough energy from the food I ate. So I'd always want more food. And then when I stopped that medication and I actually started getting energy from the normal food that I'd eat, the amount of food I ate went from a normal most of the time amount to a banana and a salad every day. I also started building rules around eating. If I dropped food off my fork or got it on the table or even on the floor, I would be like, I can't keep eating. I would not allow myself to continue the meal. And I was just so paranoid about the food I ate. And honestly, those thoughts and behaviors started when I was on the older first medication. I always had rules and food guilt, but this was the first time I was actually capable of executing those rules. I lost a lot of weight, but honestly, it was just because my medications changed. And then later, after I started taking a higher dose of the new medication I was on, I started severe water retention. I gained 20 pounds in a few days. And I was so thirsty all the time. I was drinking 3 to 4 40-ounce Stanley cups every single day. And I was still eating fairly light. I had a year where I cut out coffee and almost everything sweet. I didn't drink alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. And so I started retaining a lot of water that wasn't even regular weight gain. And I went up a few sizes again because of this water retention from my medication. So honestly, guys, my weight has been up and down the past 2 years, and I'm just used to it being very unstable. But I think all this taught me that it doesn't matter what size you are, because it could literally just be water retention causing the weight gain, and I don't have any control over that. It's a side effect of a medication that works really well otherwise for me, and I'm just doing my best to manage my bipolar disorder and also manage the side effect of water retention. But Jesus taught me that it's really just being generally healthy that matters, not your size. You don't have to be perfect in any area of your life. Even the healthiest eaters and exercisers can get sick with things. And I think I found peace in just doing my best to nourish myself properly, and that helped me a lot mentally as well. I stopped over-exercising as well too. When I stopped taking my older medication, I had all this energy, so I was exercising 24/7. Now I try to just honor what I'm feeling. My hormones affect my blood sugar, so if I need less sugar, I'll eat less, but if I need a little more, I'll add, a little extra honey to my oatmeal. And I only move when it feels good to move, which is most days, but overall I take a gentle approach with it, and gentleness is just so important when you're dealing with food guilt. God is gentle because love is gentle, so self-love includes gentleness, especially when it comes to nourishing yourself properly. And like I said, focusing on health but being comfortable with imperfection were both really important to me when I was healing from food guilt. Pursuing an idea of perfection in any way leads so quickly to eating disorders and body image issues. Also, another thing that helped me get rid of the food guilt was repenting of vanity. Vanity is a form of pride that centers around your physical appearance. In my head, I had to be willing to both exist in the next size down and the next size up, and that really helped me feel comfortable. It's okay to exist in a body that isn't perfectly healthy at any given moment. We're all just doing our best here, and contrary to popular belief, it is a lot healthier to be slightly overweight than it is to be anorexic. Anorexia is a mental illness with one of the highest mortality rates of any other mental illness. Your body literally shuts down as you starve yourself. Eating disorders are always the biggest concern when it comes to, honestly, mental illness in general. It's okay to be a work in progress. It's okay to take breaks. It's okay to rest. And it's okay to take time to learn healthy practices while you're struggling with food guilt. This world always expects worldly perfection from you, but God never expects you to be perfect. That's why Jesus came and died for us. Your body will never make you more or less perfect either, because true perfection is found in the heart. God cares about having a relationship with you, and He wants you to know that you're loved no matter what. So I hope sharing my story helps you, and you take the time to repeat truth, what the Bible says, over all your food guilt related thoughts. If you are feeling guilty, think, I am loved. God sees me in terms of heart posture, not my physical appearance. I'm not supposed to have control over my life, but God is, and God has the best plan for me. And I could never achieve what's actually best if I followed my own decisions for my life. Food guilt is not rooted in love. Guys, I hope this helps you. Happy holidays, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you all soon.